Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about the One Piece trading card game. If you guys like to see competitive content like this early, please do check out my Patreon page linked in the description. My patrons have had access to this for quite some time and I imagine have been making use of it to do some solid OP2 testing. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, 80% of you are not, and I would appreciate it if you did. I know you don't know if you like it yet, but just, hit the button, I'd appreciate it. Algorithm, very go burr. Today, I'm going to be giving my ranking of the 8 leaders from OP2, and I'm going to be giving my in-depth discussion as to why I think they lie in a certain way. This is going to be the final video in my OP2 review series. After this, you can expect an overall leader tier list where I'm going to be going into my thoughts on the format as well, and then we can move forward with some more exciting OP2 content and potentially even some Battle Spirit Saga stuff. I know it's been a little while since I made any videos about that, but One Piece takes priority. That is my baby. Let's begin. So, of course, you can see this is all the leaders here, but don't worry, we're only going to be dealing with these ones. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these all in D tier for now. They are, of course, not all in D tier, but these are just going to be the ones that we are dealing with. So, let's start off, I think, with what is probably the best leader from this new set overall, and that's going to be Kinemon. And I think... So, this is a discussion of the leaders themselves rather than the meta, and for that reason I think I have to put Kinemon in A tier. I don't think there are any S tier leaders in this set. I don't think there's anything you read and go, damn, that's absolutely insane, because I just think that the meta is very, very balanced going into the next format. There's nothing like super crazy, but Kinemon is pretty much the best leader. I think Kinemon's probably tied. Why is Kinemon so good? What does Kinemon do? Well, Kinemon says what you can do is, if you have while you have one or less characters, you can make the cost of the next Wano country character you play that costs 3 or more cost 1 less. So what this does is it completely changes your curve. So now, instead of Okiku being a turn 2 play going first, Okiku is a turn 1 play going second. Similarly, your 4-cost Yamato, which was a turn 2 play going second, is now a turn 2 play going first. It completely changes the way your curve works. It lets you take advantage of some really silly things, like, for example, an Odin at 7 Don, which can be very, very, very powerful indeed. When you consider the kind of gameplay this lets you do, it's quite wild. And 1 or less is actually kind of bananas, right? Because it lets you get this off twice, essentially. And then your opponent needs to start dealing with your board, and if they don't, they are going to be in for some trouble. I think Kinemon is really, really powerful. Definitely A tier. The fact that the deck is basically a set 1 deck with, like, 2 new cards, I think shows just how powerful the green card pool was, and just how having access to something like this leader skill really rocketed them from, like... I mean, it kept them up there, I guess, right? Like, it kept them very, very, very viable. I think the only other leader that can compare is Whitebeard. And Whitebeard is really weird because when Whitebeard came out, it basically saw 0 play and no one thought it was any good. But you read it and you go, well, this is a 6 life leader that's a 6k base. There's no possible way this is not good. It flies in the face of every bit of common sense you may have about this game, and it turns out your common sense does prevail after enough time testing and getting to grips with the format and understanding how to build a Whitebeard deck. Yes, it turns out Whitebeard is more than good. It is very, very good. Arguably the best deck in the format. I think, people may say that, and I think that's a totally fine opinion to have. Personally, I think it's a little bit too inconsistent for my liking, a little bit too prone to just getting absolutely abused. But either way, I certainly think this leader is very, very good. Well, I mean, 6k base during your turn means you're always swinging 6 without any Don. With 1 Don, you're swinging 7. That's the magic number. That's you're hitting. 6k base means a lot of the time your opponent is just not going to be able to hit you, which really goes some way to mitigating the fact that you are always taking a damage each turn, because if your opponent for the first few turns of the game is not getting a free leader swing in, it's kind of the same thing. In addition, when your opponent starts swinging into you later on in the game, everything is 1k less counter. That's why the Moby Dick version of Whitebeard works, because you can basically always survive that 1 turn where your opponent gives you everything they can, because you are 6k base and you're able to play enough counters and you're able to build out your whole board of Whitebeards, and then suddenly Whitebeard on his own is 8k, and then your King Jew is like 9k, and it's absolutely terrifying. I think Whitebeard is very, very, very good. Let's do Magellan because he's already where he belongs. Magellan is... I wish this tier list had like an E tier. Magellan is so bad. Like... irredeemably bad. If I pull an Alt Art Magellan, I may cry, and then immediately do my best to sell it to any collector. Like, I don't know what it is with purple just getting the worst fucking leaders, like, in the game, but it's happened again. It's so bad. So bad. Next, let's do Garp, and I'm gonna put Garp in C tier, and I think it's just, this was one where you read the leader effect and you go, damn, that's good. What does Garp do? Garp says every time you attach a Don, basically, give your opponents, one of your opponent's characters, -1 cost. So you read that and you go, well, hold on, this is kind of crazy, because I'm probably going to be attaching some amount of Don anyway, and then I'm just going to be able to remove basically anything my opponent plays. But then you realize, hold on a minute, why is this red again? Because red does power-based removal, whereas black does cost-based removal. You know what does cost-based removal and would have gone really well with that leader skill? Purple. We already got a purple-black leader. It's Zed. Spoiler alert, it's actually pretty good. But, you know, I just think that, I don't know what they were thinking with Garp. I'm just baffled. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. I think, like, it's conflicting in the card pools, and until we get enough support where, like, there's a really viable red package to play, you don't care about the removal, then you got this whole viable black thing. It's not bad, it's like tier 2, but it's just like, you kind of sit there and you go like, why? I'm not really getting any major benefit out of this. It's like playing a vanilla leader for most of the game, and then you don't get to take advantage of red's crazy tools, the best of it. I don't know, it's just awkward. It's just really awkward. I'm actually, you know, I'm going to move these up to S tier just because I want a little bit more room. I feel like I want a little bit more room to talk about some of these. Let's put Sanji in C tier as well. And I think this one's really unfortunate because, you know, if we got a blue-green leader in set 1, I think that would have been absolutely insane. But in set 2, a blue-green leader like this, where it's, ironically, vanilla, unless you play vanillas, is really weird. Like, I get what they were trying to do, right? Like, okay, well, you play your vanilla, you untap, you get to, like, play this value game where you're trying to overwhelm your opponent with stats. It's not good. The entire format does not give a shit about what you are doing with your janky little, oh, I get to untap too, and no one cares. You're on 4 life. I'm killing you very easily. Like, green's card pool is good. It's not good enough to sustain Sanji. Like, I get what they were trying to do. It's just definitely like one of those decks where it just does nothing. It's fine. It's better than Garp. It's better than Garp. I'm being overly harsh. It's definitely better than Garp, and it's miles better than Magellan. But it's just one of those ones where, like, being forced to play vanillas as a core part of your strategy to get value, especially as the game moves forward and vanillas are phased out even more, it's just going to be a really, really difficult sell. At the moment, the only viable vanillas are 3 costs, 4 costs, and 5 costs. Your 6 costs are way too expensive, and 1 and 2s are like doing nothing in terms of their value in terms of stats. So the only ones you can really play are 3, 4s, and 5s. And it's just awkward to make that work, right? And again, I think it can be decent. The deck has potential, but I don't think it'll ever be better than tier 2, at least with the current card pool. Eva, let's put this up on 8. I think Eva is very, very good. This is definitely up there when I was first reading the card pool. I certainly underrated Kinemon when I first read it. You can probably go back and watch those videos and see, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But I rated Whitebeard very highly, and I rated Eva very highly. And Eva is just really, really good. The fact that basically you are always going to be, like, having defense, right? I think is the nice thing. You're able to take advantage of these. Eva's a weird one because it really is built around, like, playing all those impel down cards together. You can't have Eva on its own. You can't have the impel down cards on their own, really. You can maybe play Luffy, but like Eva, Luffy, like the characters, but outside of that, like, you can't really play any of the others. So it's really important to, like, play them all together, and when they are together, the deck comes together quite harmoniously, and it's very, very scary. And in that sense, Eva leader is a very, very good leader. It also promotes this kind of, I was worried it was going to promote this style of, like, a rookie rush, which we saw in Digimon. And to be fair, I don't know to the extent that has really been explored, but you know, everything would intrinsically tell me that if I can just spam out, like, a bunch of 1 and 2 cost cards and then I just draw again, eventually I'm just going to overwhelm my opponent with just sheer quality of, you know, bodies. But it does seem like that is not necessarily the case in set 2, especially with Red Zoro just doing it way better. Frankly, like, Zoro is hitting the bigger numbers faster, so Evo is just a B-Tech version of that, so you definitely will do want to be playing more in the mid-game with Evo and taking advantage of its very, very powerful cards. Anyway, Eva is good. Eva is very, very good. Next, let's do... you know, actually, I don't know why I needed an S tier. I don't need an S tier. not an S tier at all. Let's do Smoker. I think Smoker is solidly in the B tier. This is definitely your go-to mono black leader. It is miles better than Sakazuki, who is way too expensive for what he does. What does Smoker do? So Smoker is Don 1, then give one of your opponent's characters -1 cost. And then if there is a 0 cost character on your opponent's board, this gains 1k. So for Don 1, it's going to be a 7k swing when you get the 0 cost, which actually is annoyingly infrequently. Of course, being able to, every single turn, if you have the Don for it, give that -1 cost, can turn on some of your removal that was not previously live, but it always costing a Don is a little bit annoying. It's just a little bit of an awkward card to use, and I definitely think that there is, the Smoker strategy has legs. Like, these cards that are, you know, taking advantage of having 0 costs can oftentimes be quite good. You know, the starter deck Smoker, the main set suite of 0 cost cards are actually decent, but it's just one of those things where your opponent can actually influence, like, to quite a large extent how easy it is for you, right? Like, if they just never play a cheap 1 cost that isn't a blocker or something, you might just, or a 2 cost or something, like if they just decide, oh, you know what, I'm not going to give you long-term game value, so I'm just going to not play this, that can screw you over it and can mean your strategy is not doing very, very much. But Black does fundamentally have a high enough quality of cards to kind of compensate for that. So overall, yeah, I think that Smoker is decent. And finally, Zed. I'm going to put Zed, this is definitely biased, Eva's definitely better, but I'm putting Zed above Eva because I just think Zed is really, really good. Once people figured it out, it was bloody scary. Of course, it's vulnerable to all the usual things Purple's vulnerable to. Black doesn't really fix that. And it's just, you know, one of those ones where if you're not able to kind of end the game after your, within a couple turns of your Kuzan turn, you're just losing. But it has a surprising amount of defense, and it's just cool. It's just fun. You just get to, like, go, nuke every single turn. It's just a fun style of gameplay. I think, on balance, Eva's probably better, but I do think they're pretty similar. I certainly think, Smoker is closer to C tier than B tier, but I think, you know, putting Smoker with these guys is really doing Smoker a disservice. People will take the piss out of me if I put Zed above Eva, so okay, Eva's probably better, but I really do like Zed. So overall, that is my ranking of the leaders from Paramount War. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Have I completely misrated some of these cards, or have I... Oh, sorry, I didn't even say what Zed does. It's fine, you guys know what Zed does. You don -4 on attack, pop a 3 cost or less, and this gains 1k. There you go, you know what it does. Sorry, I should have said that. But anyway, I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please do like the video. As I said, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you're interested in seeing this sort of stuff early, do check out my Patreon page linked in the description. Support there is very much appreciated. If you want to talk all things trading card games, check out my Discord server. That's it for this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one, where we're going to be discussing every single leader in the game and ranking them on this tier list. I'll see you then. Cheers.